Hello and welcome to Queensland Weekender. You know, we have got golden sand, blue skies and even bluer sea. There is only one place we can be, Kay. Queensland's beautiful Whitsunday Islands.
That's for sure.
But you know what, Bridget, it's really hard to believe that it wasn't that long ago that this entire region around here was battening down for Debbie. But I tell you what, Mother Nature is a lot happier today, isn't she?
She sure is. She is smiling. And it's wonderful to see the region just bounce back. And a lot of that has to do with the passionate people who live and work here.
Absolutely. Why don't we go and say hello to a few of them?
That's a great idea.
To cover more ground, we're splitting up. I'm heading to the skies with Hamilton Island Air.
Hamilton Island traffic, helicopter Whiskey Sierra Lima becoming airborne from Langford Reef on climb to 1000, tracking direct for Hamilton Island.
I'm travelling in traditional Whitsunday style, by boat. And what a boat. Well, hello.
Hi, Bridget. How are you?
I'm excellent, all the better for seeing you in this beautiful yacht.
Welcome aboard, Bliss.
Oh, wow, thank you. Peter Sheehy is the skipper of Whitsunday Bliss, a luxury cruising yacht. She was a little bruised by Debbie, but like most of the region's sailing fleet, Bliss was back out within days. So, sailing in this area is a big business?
Oh, definitely, definitely. We've got quite a lot of companies in the Whitsundays that offer levels of luxury sailing like we have in Bliss, right down to the budget backpacker. What would you believe? There's more people on beds in the Whitsundays on boats than there are on the mainland.
That's crazy.
Yes.
From bow to stern, Whitsunday Bliss lives up to her name. She's 60 foot of floating luxury. Captain, am I allowed to have just a little go at the wheel? Or...
Of course you can. Would you like to go? Definitely, definitely.
You are taking your life into your own hands now.
Just don't hit the islands.
Whether you get there by rudder or rotorblade, an island encounter is high on any Whitsunday wish list. Thank you. I've touched down on Hamilton Island, the biggest of the region's resorts. Hamo felt the full force of Debbie, but General Manager Mark Boylo says recovery was rapid.
We had all staff hands on deck, so it was every barista, spa therapist, CEO, trainer, everybody was a gardener. You know, the heads of the palm trees were gone, and you know, as you can see in the background already, the palm fronds are sprouting, and it's green, and it's, you know, and as every week goes by, it's getting greener and greener.
Beyond a few budding fronds, it's hard to find traces of Debbie. Much of the island's accommodation was unscathed. And at the marina, tour operators are back to ferrying guests to off-island adventures. See, I just had to warm up a bit. Welcome to Dent Island, Australia's only golf course set on its own tropical drop in the ocean. The championship course didn't escape the storm, but there is a silver lining. Well, not so much silver as emerald, because the rain that Debbie delivered was a real shot in the arm for the fairways and the greens here on Dent Island, and they're looking magnificent. I'm not sure that's going to help my game, though. Let's see. Done. How's that? Okay, next hole.
Whitsunday Bliss has brought me to Palm Bay Resort on Long Island. Besides Hamo, this is the only island resort currently open to guests. The resort's beachfront bungalows sit in the shelter of a crescent cove. You can kayak, snorkel and follow bushland tracks to the other side of the island. Too energetic? No problem. Palm Bay has its own day spa. One woman who deserves a little pampering is manager Caroline Murray.
It was a bit scary, but you know, we're all tough cookies here.
As Debbie loomed and others evacuated, Caroline stayed behind to batten down the hatches.
I'm from Scotland, so I'm used to high winds and you know, howling winds and rain everywhere. But yeah, the only time that I felt a bit kind of scared was the fact when the house started shaking.
After things stopped shaking, the clean-up began.
We did work hard, and the guys, the team that put their heart and soul into it, you know, some days 14 hours a day, you know, just to get it done. We've bounced back up and, you know, it's looking just as good as what it was, if not better.
Palm Bay Resort is paradise restored. Guests self-cater, so the main building is where you'll find a fully equipped kitchen. Or you can pre-order everything from Whitsunday provisioning, including ocean-fresh seafood platters.
Your order is delivered directly to the island, so all you need to do is set the table, pour a cool drink, peel a prawn and get lost in those wonderful Whitsunday views.
Next, the Whitsunday wonders still packing a punch.
Bliss has anchored off Hook Island in the north of the Whitsundays. We're in Butterfly Bay, known for its fringing reefs. On board is Stuart Ireland, a marine biologist and underwater cameraman based in Cairns.
Oh wow, Stuart, that is one serious camera. You're here for more than just the holiday, I think.
I am indeed.
Stuart's here to gauge Debbie's effects on coral and marine life.
I suppose the reef's used to cyclones. It's what happens.
It is, exactly. You know, it's all part of nature's cyclones, and how fast the reef recovers after it will depend on the water quality and water temperature.
The reef looks healthy from above, but what will we see below?
See you in there.
I'm joining Stuart on his dive to find out.
The coral is in amazing condition in this bay, considering it's had a Category 4 cyclone over the top of it. Sure, there's a little bit of broken coral from the cyclone, but wow, I was really amazed. All the local inhabitants were there. So the cyclones are beneficial to the reef for many reasons. First of all, they bring that cooler water in by mixing up those warmer sea temperatures. It also creates space for new species of coral to cohabitate and exist. So it keeps the diversity alive on a reef. And that's how the reef's been evolving over tens of thousands of years that it's been here.
But who says you need a boat to have a reef experience in the Whitsundays?
So just there, watch us.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to this immensely. Air Whitsundays offers scenic flights in the region. Today we're in the hands of pilots Taiki and Simon as our seaplane threads through the islands towards the outer reef.
It's only 30 metres deep on average around the Whitsunday Islands, and that gives it that bright blue aquamarine colour.
40 nautical miles from shore, we're soaring above the Great Barrier Reef, and she's glorious. And so is that famous symbol of the region's unshakable spirit.
And it's probably one of the most looked at icons of the world.
Isn't that beautiful? I've got goosebumps.
Our aerial tour includes touching down at another Whitsunday wonder. Hill Inlet sits to the north of a 7-kilometre stretch of internationally famous sand. Isn't this beautiful? I've heard so much about Whitehaven, and now I'm standing on Whitehaven Beach, and she looks magnificent. There's no denying Whitehaven was in Debbie's firing line, but she's recovering daily, and you can't keep the tourists away.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's even more beautiful than we expected it to be.
Really?
It's wonderful, it's clean, it's unbelievable.
It's a familiar refrain to Kerry Ray. She's a tour guide with Cruise Whitsundays.
It's just amazing. Like, some people have tears in their eyes. You've had people that have wanted to be here like all their life, worked 3 or 4 jobs to get here, and it's just amazing. That's the best feeling.
How did you feel when you knew Debbie had been through here?
Devastated, very scared because we didn't know what it was going to look like, but I'm so happy. It's just absolutely stunning here still.
Next, the surprising bright side to Debbie.
You can come to Airlie Beach and have a chili crab for less than you normally would because they're cheaper.
Airlie Beach is the gateway to the Whitsunday Islands, a melting pot of visitors from across the world.
We're from the UK,
Seattle,
Minnesota,
Finland, Massachusetts.
Wir sind aus Deutschland.
Aussies love it too. Sharon and Bryce are here from South Australia.
We heard about the devastation of the cyclone, but we thought we'd come anyway because we had planned a trip, and it's been wonderful so far, yeah.
It's as beautiful as it was before, so yeah, come up here now.
And just help the locals get back on their feet again.
In a town of big-hearted locals, where else would you stay but at the Hart Hotel? This newcomer to Airlie is a touch of boutique style in a backpacker's paradise. There are 34 beautiful rooms and 6 luxury suites, many overlooking the water. And in a first for Airlie Beach, the hotel incorporates an art gallery.
So if I were to take a fancy at one of these beautiful photos, can I take it home?
100%. We can organise for certain pieces to be sold, then packaged and sent to wherever it is that you live throughout the world.
Dining in Airlie Beach has taken on a new dimension as well, thanks to Walter's Lounge. This restaurant offers a few things others don't. First, a moody, speakeasy atmosphere, surprising for a sunny resort town. And second, a coveted chef's hat from the Australian Good Food and Travel Guide.
Oh, wow.
All right, okay, so this is what we've got for selection on our menu.
The gong is doubly impressive because head chef Rob Moore is a spring chicken.
You're 24 years of age.
Yeah.
Do you mind my saying that?
Yeah, that's fine.
That's a pretty big accomplishment for such a young man.
Yeah, I feel so, thank you.
You must be very chuffed.
I am a little bit chuffed, yes.
You are chuffed.
So basically it's that degustation style, but it's all designed to match. Just gets all our customers really mingling with each other, talking about the food.
What is this, Rob?
Okay,
Tell me all about it.
What we've got here is our take on the traditional pavlova. So it's named the Beverly after my grandma.
The Beverly.
Yeah. So there's an apricot foam, passion fruit gel, fresh kiwi fruit and strawberry. Then there's some toasted marshmallow topped with meringue.
And Bev's claiming it all.
As she is indeed. I think she wants some royalties out of it, but we'll see about that.
While Kay checks out Airlie's newcomers, I'm visiting some old favourites. 30 years ago, Club Croc was the place to stay in town. Well, look at it now. A $5 million makeover has transformed the resort, earning it the Mantra brand. Everything has a fresh new feel, from guest rooms to tropical grounds and the hotel's bistro and bar.
In the days after Debbie, this space became a real hub for locals. Management put on live music for free, and the hotel housed the town's army of emergency workers. Oh, that looks great, thank you. It's really good to know that Club Croc was there for the locals.
Like Club Croc, Fish Divine is an Airlie stalwart. For 13 years, the restaurant has served fresh local seafood. And owner Kev Collins wasn't about to let a cyclone stop that tradition.
So we had our generators and we had our fuel and we had everything ready to go, and we did get the restaurant open the very next day. For lunch we opened, we were the only place open in town, and we had a pretty good day. When you've got the only cold beer in Airlie Beach, it's got to be a good day.
Not so good the following day when floods closed the restaurant. But Fish Divine found another way to feed the hungry.
Well, we have a big catering operation out of Jubilee Pocket, which does all the boat meals and does a lot of big catering. And I had generators out there and fuel out there and staff wanting something to do. So we thought, well, let's go. We had a mum with 4 kids in the car that hadn't eaten in 2 days, and just to be able to give them the kid an ice block, you got no idea. We gave away like nearly 2,000 ice blocks, and mum and dad could get some nice hot food, and they could have what they wanted, and it was almost having to pay traffic cops to keep the cars moving. It was like the ultimate drive-in diner, and we went through 4,500 meals in 2 days.
Kev and his crew must have an ocean of good karma coming to them. And here it is.
Well, it's not all bad, is it?
No, if there's an upside of a lot of rain, it's a lot of mud crabs, and it's a lot of barramundi, and it's a lot of prawns, and it's a lot of fish. And when you own a seafood restaurant, I've got to say, the rain can be very welcome.
Now, you might have noticed that Fish Divine serves more than great seafood. Its rum bar stocks Australia's biggest collection, 572 varieties. And Mark Wyatt, Dr. Rum to the locals, mixes the world's best mojito.
Oh, goodness gracious, I think it's right up there. Hey, so what's the history behind this sumptuous drink?
Sir Francis Drake was the first person to put the precursor of rum, which is aquadente, with fresh lime, fresh mint and sugar to make it more palatable. When he wasn't doing nonsense like circumnavigating the globe or attacking the Spanish Main, he was actually doing some decent work by inventing the world's most popular cocktail.
After the break, Bridget and I hit the high seas for one last Whitsunday adventure.
You could be the sailing part of the trip and I'll be the pirate. Arr.
Mahari, shake a leg and come aboard.
I will. Well, I have never seen such an elegant-looking pirate ship.
Isn't she gorgeous?
Permission to board?
Permission granted.
Bridget and I have planned our own pirate adventure.
Oh, we are going to have a lovely day.
We're going to have a fabulous day.
We've booked passage on board Providence, one of the classic tall ships that sail Whitsunday waters.
Because I heard you have done some sailing.
I have done some sailing, and these are called sheets. Did you know that?
Oh, wow.
There, I taught you something.
Like the rope's called a sheet.
Correct.
You can be the sailing part of the trip and I'll be the pirate. Arr. I think I've probably had some good practice at that.
I'd like to hear more about that. You and your peg leg.
Heave ho, me hearty. See, I told you I was good. Time to hoist the mainsail.
Oh, this pirate stuff's easy.
You're almost there, super easy.
When do we find the treasure?
What can we rub into the blisters? One more.
Ready, cheese, boys.
Good job, well done.
Lindsay Simpson and Grant Lewis own Providence.
I think we'll keep them on as crew. What do you think?
Their pride and joy is modelled on an American schooner of the 1870s.
Tell me a bit about this beautiful boat.
Well, Providence, she was launched in 1988, which is our bicentenary year. So built here in Queensland, all Queensland timbers, what you might say strong bones, I suppose, and it's one of the reasons she survived this recent cyclone. She's just a brilliant boat, I love her, yeah.
Grant's other love is his wife, Lindsay, the ship's first mate and author of 9 true crime novels.
Lindsay, there's got to be a romance novel on the cards. Tell us the story behind finding Providence.
Well, we found Providence while we were on a honeymoon in 2003, and what an amazingly romantic place the Whitsundays is. And to be honest, here we are 12 years later. I mean, we go to Whitehaven every day, and we also are the only sailing boat to do a sunset sail, which is very popular. We've had so many proposals on board over the years.
Oh, really?
Tell me, how did you fare during the recent Debbie visit?
We did have about $40,000 worth of damage, so we've been up on the slip for a month. But I must say, I think she's looking the best I've ever seen her. And we're back in the water now. And
how does it feel to be back out here?
Oh, it's so, for me, it is just such a fantastic thing, and I think for us to see the community that we went through, the Whitsundays is such a resilient place.
So there really is a lot of heart and soul in the area and on board.
Absolutely.
The Whitsundays are back and waiting just for you. A great way to support the region is to book your next holiday here.
Go online to find the best resources for planning a fantastic getaway in this beautiful part of Australia. Queensland.com and local tourism websites have all the details.
More idea inspiration can be found on our website. You can also keep up with our travels on Facebook and Instagram. And a few other good resources are RACQ and the Queensland Rail travel websites.
Kay, I have been lucky enough to come to the Whitsundays many times. I've got to say, it never fails to impress.
I have to confess, I'd forgotten how beautiful the whole region is, and it's right on our doorstep. Who knows where we might end up today?
I know, and as we sail off into the distance, sadly, that's all we've got time for this week. Make sure you catch us next time for more Queensland Weekender. See you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.